Okay, Carlos, you're up. Where's Carlos? There he is. And Carlos will, I think, be talking about the East Palmer neighborhood. So,
is it good now?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, thank you everybody for being here. I'm humbled to be in the presence of so many interested people on the issues of our community. I'm just basically one small member of our big community. I represent proudly our neighborhood and also basically all of the communities east of I-75 and Palmer Road. You all heard some of the most eloquent points made on this issue that we are facing. I'm here just mainly to tell you that as a property owner, as a homeowner on the area, I've been there for 11 years. My concern is simple, it's basically property value. And I think, the county is not really looking at the big picture here. They're focusing and maybe favoring one big contributor to their political, process. But the reality is, when you look in the big picture, what we all represent, the homeowners on the areas of Palmer and the vicinity of the celery fields, you're looking at, give or take, about $400 to $600 million worth of property. That's a rough estimate considering the 600 plus homes that are being built right now as we speak at the end of Palmer and Iona. When you translate that on tax revenue, I think the county is really putting all of us in a very tough spot to be proud residents of Sarasota County, because honestly, I look at my piece of property right now, and if this monstrosity gets built, I'm looking at probably losing every bit of 25, 30, maybe 40% of the property value of my house. We are already seeing a significant stagnant in the market. I mean, we're already seeing homes that have been, in the market sitting there, beautiful homes. I mean, and I'm not bragging because I live there, but I can tell you that in the Enclave, which is my subdivision, along with, Meadow Walks and Laurel Lakes, they're really upcoming communities, and their homes, they've been sitting there for 7-8 months. And let's face it, folks, we are in a very active real estate market. And you ask any realtors out there and they can tell you the same thing. Our area is right now under, a lot of pressure because of all these issues. People are starting to realize that, hey, maybe I should hold off on buying this home that I like so much, but really, I need to see first what's going on. Because this, proposal that is being put in front of us is basically going to be the portal to our community. We have right now a very, very valuable, very beautiful, asset to our community, which is the celery fields. It's something that we all live and breathe every day. I mean, I don't know how many of you live in that area, but I can tell you, if you don't and you have never been there, at least over the weekend, just take a drive by and go look at it. I mean, it's just fantastic. It's a beautiful place. And I promise you that if this proposal goes through, it's going to put such a huge damper in the community. I mean, it's just going to be awful. And I tell you, we've been I've been at least extremely proud of, meeting so many people in this, throughout this past couple months, being involved in this action. That basically, it makes you realize how much at heart all these issues are going to impact everybody. And the reality is that the county, they, in their hands, have a very large bargain to take by pleasing one individual, one impresario, one political contributor, and displease thousands and thousands of people who have been loyal to our community, have been loyal to our county. We are proud to live in Sarasota County. We basically, have made all of our efforts to live in this area, maintain our properties, and it's something that is kind of a slap in the face, basically, from the county. I feel that we are, if this goes through, I said it before and I will continue saying it, it's basically an insult to our intelligence, because they are taking all this, as Tom mentioned, all this, old regulations and codes that were basically made to conceive some sort of a different concept than what we have now, and they're just basically wiping the page and saying, you know what, we don't care, we're just going to go with this because we can. It's a pretty simple decision of giving importance to what's common sense, more important than anything. So I think it's very important that we all stand our ground as far as what we know is right and confront what is wrong. And this proposal that hopefully we will be able to beat. I think we have come to a position where we need to keep the pressure on the county. We need to be political. We need to be somewhat we understand that the commissioners are in a tough spot because they have to follow the rules, but at the same time they have to stand and represent us. But we can't lower the guard. We can't let go of the one objective, which is to oppose this proposal. We basically, and I speak for myself, but I'm pretty sure a large majority of the residents in the area consider the salary fields, is kind of like the last bastion of, open air that we can actually enjoy. I mean, we're not, and we're not in a proximity to the beach where we can, say, we take 5-minute drive and we're on the beach. Like Mr. Gabber, he lives in a beautiful property right on Siesta Key. I'm sure he will be very uncomfortable if a 16-acre piece of land in Siesta Key will come open and somebody will propose to put a concrete dump in the island, right? So, I mean, let's face it, if a proposal like that was brought to the county, everybody will laugh and say, are you out of your mind? So what makes this any different? I mean, I'm not, and we have tossed this around for many, many weeks and months. We are by no means opposing the existence of a concrete and demolition and landscaping waste processing, because that's a reality. It needs to happen. It needs to be there. We have more development than we ever thought possible, so that's a necessity. However, it cannot be feasible to have that type of industry in our front entrance to our neighborhood, to our area. That's completely out of place. That's completely out of place. I think there's plenty of land that will probably be much better suited if you go down I-75 toward Northport in areas that are not even, impacted in any way by something of this nature. So I don't see why they are so fixated in doing it in this location. I know the reason, but obviously, let's be real. Exactly. I mean, if the county is giving this piece of land for, I don't know, what is it they're paying for? What is the price tag for this piece of land?
1.2 or something.
Come on, who are we kidding? Is the county really breaking for $1.2 million for this beautiful piece of land? So, we have some slides. I don't know if, are they available there? Tom had them. Did you have them in that presentation or not, Tom? It's okay if they're not in there. We basically looked at the growth on the area and looking at, I'll be brief, don't worry about it. It's no problem. I can verbalize what I'm trying to tell you. Within probably the next 2-3 years, when this last development been built in at the end of Palmer and Iona is completed, it's gonna roughly have about 600 to 650 residents, okay? That in addition to all the other communities that are already built in this area, we're looking at approximately 1,900 to 2,000 homes, okay? Being conservative, let's say you account for, let's say 1.5 cars per household, Okay, we're looking at about 3,000 vehicles moving in and out of that area. And this becomes one of the issues that is more prevalent on this addition, basically this proposal. Gabbard has said that his business, in order to function, he will have a traffic of anywhere from roughly about 100 to 120 trucks a day. We all know that that is a very, very low ball number that he's giving, because obviously he doesn't want to, be realistic. But I am in the trucking industry, okay? I work for a truck dealership, and I'm very well in tune on what is the traffic that you have in plants like the county plant in Nokomis, the plant that Gabbard used to own right down in Fruitville, East Fruitville, which he sold to WCA for $35 million. And let me tell you, it's not gonna be 100 trucks a day, okay? It's gonna be way more than that. And the problem with that, yes?
Have you ever thought of suing the county?
We'll get to that, the dynamics of that plant is going to be far, far more deep than 100 trucks a day. I can tell you that, because knowing how that industry moves and how it performs a plant like that during the normal daily schedule, you have roughly about 10 hours of heavy traffic going through that place, and it will be extremely overpowering for the capacity of the roads that we have right there right now. Also, the county has no intentions whatsoever to increase the size of the roads and to have a plan B for road growth. Okay, so there is no such a thing. The county doesn't have it on their budget, doesn't have it on their planning, and truthfully, there is no physical space for any other roads to be added. So we're there basically in a bottleneck when it comes down to all those homes to basically leave from Palmer out to either Cattleman or Fruitville, or else.
Well, they want to put in the diamond right there at Cattleman.
Correct, they want to do the diamond.
So will that be bottling up I-75?
That will. I mean, you all can see right now what the situation with traffic is in the intersection of University Parkway and I-75. Now, this place right here is going to be basically at the epicenter of any type of traffic modification they do on I-75. So, without being a genius, you can figure out that this is going to have a very, very detrimental impact on the accessibility to our community. That, along with the fact that we have one of the, I think it's number 2 or number 3 elementary schools in the county, Tatum Elementary, which it has a huge attractive for people to bring their kids to that school. We have school buses for that school, along with other schools in the area. Charter schools also have bus stops at the celery field. So if either one of you have any curiosity just to see what the traffic pattern is in that area, just either one day after lunch or one morning if you have the curiosity to go by the celery fields, stand there between 7:30 and 9 o'clock in the morning, and I promise you, you'll understand what traffic volume is like in that area, because we only have 2-lane road, one in, one out. And I don't see how 100 plus trucks are going to fit in all that volume. It's an impossibility. It's going to be a disaster. Let alone if there's an emergency, an ambulance or anything of that nature. It's just, the consequences are going to be very large, very negative. So with that being said, that's pretty much my point of view from a neighbor perspective. Thank you.